Today, the Supreme Court handed down a decision. It's called Shewitt versus Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action by Any Means Necessary, also known by the acronym BAM, B-A-M-N. And essentially what the court ruled was that citizens of Michigan have the right, through referendum, to decide that they no longer wish to have racial preferences involved in the admission to public universities. And so this is a bit of a course change, but it's really, not completely at divergence with the Supreme Court's rulings over the last 40 years since Bakke. In Bakke, the Supreme Court said, yes, a state could have policies designed to have preferences, if not quotas, in the admission of particular racial or ethnic or other sorts of minorities into public schools, into public employment and whatnot. But in rendering that decision, while the Supreme Court said that affirmative action was not unconstitutional, it didn't say that it was constitutionally required. So now you fast forward some 40 years ahead, and the citizens of Michigan, who've been in state several times in the last decade or so about this, have decided, okay, we no longer want to have racial preferences in admissions to our colleges. There are several other states in the country that have gotten rid of racial preferences too. California has, Nebraska has, Arizona, New Hampshire, several others. And so the result of this is then that racial preferences are now on a different sort of footing when it comes to admissions to colleges. You can have special preferences for legacies, for athletes, for musicians, for whatnot. But race has been removed from the political process. This is somewhat controversial. Justice Sotomayor said this is completely unfair. If citizens wish to change the rules of allowing legacies into the schools, they can just pass laws. But what has happened now is that because this was passed through a referendum, and the referendum was used to essentially amend the Constitution of Michigan, the only way to reverse this is for advocates of minority admissions or affirmative action or whatever you want to call it, to go and re-amend, that is, unamend the Constitution of Michigan, which is a very difficult thing to do. It requires a referendum, it requires a very concerted, effective, powerful movement. And so essentially it's going to make it very difficult now for race to play or ethnicity to play any sort of role in admissions to public universities and colleges.